Watch out, it's the warning track.
Welcome back to another episode of The Warning Track. I'm your host, Clayton McMahon, here on a Thursday, April 16th. We are recording this just after 8:30, so back to another early recording. I'm sure there'll be a ton of news throughout the day, and then you won't see this until like 8 o'clock at night, but that's okay. Closing carousel, once again, I think today's theme of the closing carousel will be the inevitable has happened. In terms of guys who nobody really assumed was going to hold on to the role for super long. Not quite maybe Carlos Estevez levels of that, but I think the writing's kind of on the wall for a few of these guys, as well as maybe some stopgap guys who, injured people are going to be coming back, but in the meantime, especially in like season-long roto or even week-to-week matchups, head-to-head categories will be useful to get saves. Some injury updates, and then finally we're going to hopefully get into some rankings where we're going to go over a group of relief pitchers and a group of starting pitchers, kind of just talking about their roster percentages and then how I would rank them. So not every one of these guys will necessarily be on the waiver wire, but just guys to think about maybe if you're trying to trade or even sell off in a sense and get a better package. So we'll kind of dive right into it here. Our first closer, the one we'll talk about tonight, is Dennis Santana, who got a save Wednesday, his second of the year. It was definitely looking like, we've touched plenty of times on the show about Don Kelly's quotes regarding Gregory Soto, and it certainly looked that way earlier in the year. But now Dennis Santana has 2 saves within the last 7 days. Did blow a save on April 11th, but that's the only run he's given up all year. He's looked great. The K numbers aren't quite there. He only has 6 strikeouts in 9 innings, but like I said, 2 saves, 1 ERA has looked good. Now Soto has still looked really good as well. And last night he entered the game in the 8th inning, so he was the setup guy, and then Dennis Santana came in. But it was a perfect inning, 2 strikeouts. He still only has 1 save, Gregory Soto, but has 4 holds if you're in a league with that, and has 15 strikeouts in 9 2/3. So he's looked absolutely incredible. And even the only appearance where he gave up a run, he still got a save. So at this point, I think if you're looking strictly for saves and had the choice between the two, I think I have to lean Santana at this point. But especially if you're in a save plus holds league, you need Gregory Soto in your team, and even for saves, I think he's going to get the occasional one. Being a lefty, it's possible there will be some matchup tendencies Don and Kelly will want to use. But they both need to be owned, but I think I'm going Dennis Santana on that one. And then you probably can't do anything with this waiver wire wise because, he's owned 52% in ESPN, so probably like in the 70s or 80s in Yahoo. But Abner Uribe got his first save of the year. And he hasn't exactly had the best start to the season ever. He has a 4.91 ERA. Not really walking guys, which I've been impressed with. He only has 1 walk in the entire season, so I'm not really able to watch Brewers games, obviously. Maybe it's just some bad luck, but either way, the whip's fine, 1-2-3 whip. But Trevor McGill has been very, very rough. He's given up 7 earned runs in combined his last 2 outings. And the last one was Tuesday, blew a save, gave up 3 runs against the Blue Jays. And then per Adam McCulvey of MLB.com, manager Pat Murphy acknowledged after Tuesday's loss that the Brewers may consider a change at closer, though the skipper said that no immediate decision has been made. And then, of course, literally the very first save opportunity comes up the next day, and they go to Uribe. So I think this is obviously what fantasy managers have wanted all along, and he definitely has the upside of, I was just listening to CBS Fantasy Baseball, their podcast. They were saying like top 6 closer upside, and it's kind of hard to disagree with. The K upside's insane. Last year had a 1.67 ERA, a 103 whip. The numbers are dominant. Had 7 saves. There was a brief period where Trevor McGill was hurt last year, and Uribe filled in just fine as the temporary closer. So you definitely can't drop Trevor McGill. but this is really not good. I think moving forward, same thing. Like if I had the opportunity, um, to have both players, I think I'd probably choose Abner Uribe at this point. I think the K upside's higher, not that McGill's bad at getting strikeouts, but I'd say tighter for Uribe, and especially after this, it doesn't take long, even if I don't necessarily agree with it, because to me, even if it's back to back, it's still only 2 appearances out of the what, like 60 to 70 some, the average player is going to be in, or relief pitcher. But it doesn't take long for these managers to basically jump ship, despite how good. I mean, I think Trevor McGill's a 2-time All-Star. I want to say he was Trevor. No, I want to say he was not, or 1 time. Okay, but I think he was last year. I want to say last year was his first All-Star appearance. Yes, it was. So coming off a sub-2, sub-3 ERA seasons, like I said, decent strikeout numbers. Last year was 60 across 47 innings. Had 30 saves, and that's with him missing some time. It's a cold world. It's so, yeah, I think I'm going Abner Uribe on that one. And then, I need to fill in you guys. So on Wednesday's show, came across Alex Vesia still being available in my Yahoo League where saves are a category, and just being absolutely shocked and having to make a decision on who I would pick up or who I would drop to pick up Vesia. And I went back and forth on it, but pretty much as soon as I was done recording, I ended up dropping Gus Varland and picking up Vesia. Now you may see here, as you can see on my screen, this is my pitcher group in this league, that neither Gus Varland nor the alternative option that I had, Mark Leiter Jr., are on the team. And that's because Mark Leiter Jr. once again decides to screw me over. And so if we go to the box score here, Joel Kuhnel got his 3rd save of the year, entered in the 8th inning, so he got a 4-out save on Wednesday. Mark Leiter Jr. entered in the 8th inning and gave up 3 earned runs. His ERA is all the way up to 9 now. And so not only did that really hurt, but then I'm like, okay, I hadn't known Gus Varland for a day, so I was going to be able to pick him up automatically and not have to worry about the waiver wire processing. And I get into work at 7 o'clock, so I look quick. It was probably 7:15, 7:20. I look up Gus Varland, and he got picked up at 7:09 a.m., literally like 10 minutes before I was going to. So that hurt. That was frustrating. This is me right here. You were the chosen Juan Soto. This is the league where all 3 starting outfielders are hurt. So that one is, can't win them all. I still wouldn't say it's my worst move of the year. I'd say probably my worst one is in Bats and Stats, my other Yahoo league, or maybe it was one of the leagues I drafted. Yes, yeah, drafted Chandler Simpson. I dropped him like first, second game of the year. If I remember correctly, he didn't even start it. Yeah, that was why. He didn't start the game, but then somehow did, I guess, and went 1 for 3, and now he's just been incredible and gotten a hit in almost every game and has 7 stolen bases. So that's still probably my dumbest move, or dumbest non-draft move. I would still say my dumbest move overall is forgetting that this league is saves and holds and spending high draft capital on Andres Munoz and Devin Williams. Andres Munoz was awful last night. Gave up 5 runs. His ERA is up to 9.45. And I don't even know. In a net saves plus holds, I think he has 1, maybe none. He has 1. So it has been basically a non-factor. Devin Williams also got lit up last night. He gave up 4, grand slam in a non-save situation. That honestly might have cost me. Funny enough, I actually picked up Abner Uribe. He was dropped in this league, and a net saves plus holds, I have no idea why. Because regardless of whether he's the closer or the setup man, he's going to have value and have the high Ks. So I was very happy to scoop him up. And then, as you can see, I've just had a couple other guys for additional hold, I guess, saves plus holds. They're hold guys, but can also give me some good ratios. Like Jojo Romero's had a fantastic season so far. And then I just picked up Rico Garcia, who's looked really good too. So this league's just been tough and dry. I'm getting destroyed here. Putting up solid numbers. He's just going off, and I'm already kind of behind in this league, 14-20. So going 1-11 is not necessarily ideal right now. Funny enough, in Splendid Splinter, where all the injuries are, I'm 26-18 and at least keeping pace right now. So I mean, there's still a few more days left in the matchup. Anyway, Joe Kuhnel's the guy to own. Mark Leiter, drop him, forget about him. I don't even really necessarily feel great about Kuhnel, but he's pitched well, and he's the guy, so get him. In terms of temporary saves, you'll notice the other guy that I do have on my team, who I dropped Leiter for, is Angel De Los Santos, who for the second consecutive night, let alone appearance, has gotten a save for the Astros. And I think the reason I feel pretty good about it is who has been his setup man both times. So last night it was Brian Abreu. Pitched well, 1 1/3 inning, 2 strikeouts. I mean, as you can see, his ERA is still like almost 13, but pitched scoreless, had a scoreless appearance this time. And then during Tuesday's save, I believe Brian King was his setup man. Yes, it was. So, and same thing. He gave up 3 hits, but 1 1/3 inning, scoreless. And he's been mostly good. I mean, he's got a 1.13 ERA. But let's actually look up his. Yeah, because I thought he blew. Or no, he didn't. So he did get a save late March. But so I could see maybe Brian King having some value. But at least just for temporary saves, I'm feeling pretty good about Angel De Los Santos right now. We'll get into, there was actually an update about Josh Hader we'll get into here in a second. And probably the last closer I want to talk about is Jordan Romano, who has just absolutely imploded in this Yankees series. In his last 2 appearances, has taken a loss and a blown save and has given 5 earned runs over a third of an inning between the 2 appearances. His ERA is now up to almost 9. In his last 7 days, he has a 135 ERA. And so we've talked about the Kirby Yates stash. Obviously, that stash is looking a million times better than it did a week ago. I actually have him in the Yahoo League with saves, so I'm feeling very, very good about it. We still haven't heard an update on him since Sunday, where it just said he was expected to pitch for high A soon. Like I said, I don't know if there's any updates beyond that, but yeah, if you've stashed Kirby Yates, you got to be feeling pretty good about that one. So I would still hold on to Romano at least until Yates comes back and we can confirm that he will take over the closer role. But yeah, that was fun while it lasted. But, okay, we're gonna run through notes really quickly because I want to get through the positional rankings that I want to do. So speaking of Josh Hader, he threw 20 pitches in a live BP Wednesday, and the report is that he's about a month out. He's most likely stashed in your league. I imagine I've got him in bats and stats, who I also spent decent capital on. Yeah, that was just a disaster. But yeah, he's 92% owned, so he's probably not on your waiver wire, but if you stashed him, still feel good. He's definitely going to get the roll back, barring any setbacks or, diminished velocity issues, things like that. So Jared Jones, I feel like that's the first time I've mentioned Jared Jones on the show this year. Through a live BP Wednesday, still on track for late May. I really don't know what to think about him. And I remember, was it 2024? Yes, it was. Yeah. So, wow. It's already been basically 2 years since we've seen him. There was definitely some upside. If I remember correctly, that 4.14 ERA was kind of inflated by his last few starts that were a little rough. I think he started off the season super well, but 132 strikeouts, 121 innings with a 1.19 whip. I'd be interested to see what his roster percentage is. My guess is he's probably stashed in a lot of places, but I definitely think there's some upside there. Like I said, it's obviously been almost 2 years since we've seen him, so I really don't know what to expect. He's only 17% rostered in Yahoo. So my guess is he's still out or available in majority league. So somebody to keep an eye on. The White Sox called up Sam Antonacci, who we saw him in the World Baseball Classic. A lot of prospect hype so far this season. And look at his numbers. I do think he has an intriguing profile. So these are his numbers. If you look on the right side of your screen here, last few years in the minors. He's the White Sox 9th overall prospect. He's not a top 100 guy, at least according to MLB.com. Not that always necessarily means anything. But what we see here consistently is a high average, high on base percentage. I mean, with A-ball on the White Sox at a 471 OBP. So far in 14 games in Charlotte, the AAA has a 500 on base percentage. Now, the power is pretty much non-existent. I've heard Scott White, like some of the CBS, even like Fantasy Pros analysts say that. They think he's tapping into power a little more. Not that he's going to be some 30-homer guy or anything, but even if he gives you like 5, 10 homers, I mean, I'm not too worried about that. Stolen base numbers are obviously really high. Last year, he had 48 stolen bases in the minors, and then it was already at 5 this year at Charlotte. And should put up decent runs. Probably not going to do much in ribbies, but yeah, good content. I mean, so far as a 15 to 8 K to walk or walk to strikeout ratio. So I think in on base percentage leagues, you need to scoop him up, 12 team or deeper. Obviously, if you need stolen bases, I think he's a guy to go after. He has second and third base eligibility already, and then a lot of people think. I think last night he made his debut Tuesday, and I think he played second base. But people think he's going to get some outfield reps too, so he'll give you a position flexibility. This is Tuesday. Look at Wednesday because I think he was batting 5th in the lineup, so he's already got a decent spot in the lineup. Yes, so yeah, he was 5th in the lineup. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, no, yeah, Kara was pinch hitter, pinch ran for. So yeah, he was 5th in the lineup. Went 1 for 3 with a walk. Honestly, my guess is like add a stolen base to that stat line, and that's probably what you're going to see most nights from him. Is like he's going to get on base, going to get you some steals. It'd be nice if they had him hitting the leadoff instead of Benintendi, and that's something that could potentially happen. This was only one game, but I think you should definitely pick up Sam Antonacci unless you're just really good on stolen bases and it's not an on-base percentage league, but somebody to keep an eye on. Garrett Cole is expected to start a rehab assignment on Friday. Still obviously be a few weeks before he's back. Nick Pivetta, we talked about how they were awaiting MRI results, and we got him, and it was not good. Diagnosed with a flexor strain. Apparently the report, per a reporter with the San Diego Sports Association, Padres manager Craig Stammen believe that Pivetta is looking at, quote, weeks, maybe months of rehab and rest. So probably not seeing him until the All-Star break. That's a brutal one. He was going, like mid-teens? Or 10th? Yeah, I mean, it was a 10th round pick in Hundo. So that's a tough one to lose. And he was looking solid, putting up really good K numbers, 24 strikeouts in 16 innings. He had the bad season debut against the Tigers, but since then had been looking good. So that one's really unfortunate, but obviously stash him if you can. Blake Snell took a live batting practice Wednesday, still on track for May, it seems. He tossed 31 pitches over 2 simulated innings. Hopefully no setbacks there, and should be a stud when he comes back. And then Spencer Arrighetti was called up with all the Astros pitching injuries and did a fine job. Had 10 strikeouts, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Did have 4 walks, so the control wasn't the best. But looked really good and was putting up great numbers in the minor leagues. I think you should definitely pick him up if you can. He's only 8% rostered in ESPN. I'd be interested to see the gap. 27%. Yeah. So he's probably gone, or at least I know in my leagues he's going to be. So if you don't get him right away there, they are done for. But less than 30% owned in Yahoo, so you need to go get him. Yeah, he's owned everywhere. Okay, yeah. So kind of we got about, maybe 3-4 minutes. Just wanted to kind of go over some of the closers we've been talking about the last few days and kind of just how I'd rank them in terms of who you should be targeting or maybe trading for. maybe trading away to get other pieces, stuff like that. So looking at five closers here, I want to talk about Riley O'Brien, who got another save last night, his 5th of the year. Lucas Urseg with the Royals. We talked about Trevor McGill. We talked about Dennis Santana. And then Sir Anthony Dominguez with the White Sox, who has been fine. Obviously, the White Sox aren't going to give you too many opportunities, but he does have 3 saves, 3.18 ERA, whip's a little high. But the way out, and then their roster percentage, these are all Yahoo just because it'll be more owned. So more likely if they would be, especially if you're like playing in CBS or whatever format you're on. Riley O'Brien has a 62% ownership. Lucas Urseg's at 56. Trevor McGill's at 81, which kind of surprised me it's not higher. Sir Anthony Dominguez is 44%, and Dennis Santana is 79%. Now, of these names, I'm kind of surprised that Sir Anthony Dominguez is not owned more. Like I said, I know the White Sox aren't going to give him too many opportunities, but he is 1,000% the closer. And he's already got 3 of them. So, to me, it just makes no sense. And I think Sir Anthony's a solid pitcher. So, I don't think he's just going to instantly annihilate your ratios. So, I think he should just be on more in general. The way I would rank it out of these 5 guys is probably Riley O'Brien, who, like I said, just looked incredible this year. Lucas Urseg. I'm going to say Dennis Santana, Sir Anthony Dominguez, and Trevor McGill. I don't know if you can, but I think if you can get rid of McGill at all cost, I would. Like I said, clearly the fans have wanted this for a long time, and I guess it only took 2 appearances for him to be washed. So I would, I would definitely look at trying to offload McGill if you can. I think if you could trade McGill for Urseg, I just don't know if anybody would do that. If you could make that exchange, I would. And then the last one is interesting. 4 starting pitchers. They're all kind of rookies, or maybe some of them don't technically have rookie eligibility. I think they do. Maybe Abel doesn't. Anyway, 4 pitchers are Andrew Painter, Noah Schultz, Mick Abel, and Parker Messick. Painter is 47% owned. Noah Schultz is 40%. Mick Abel is 19%, and Parker Messick is 67%. I'm honestly surprised the numbers for all 4 of these guys aren't higher, especially Messick, who had a lot of draft hype. Him and, well, I guess all 3 of these guys, other than Schultz, were on opening day rotations. But Messick's just been fantastic. He only made 3 starts, but has a .51 ERA, 16 Ks across 17 2/3. He's actually pitching today against the Orioles, so hopefully he keeps up that. I got him in a league, so hopefully he keeps up that trend. If I had to rank him, I'd probably go Parker Messick 1. I'd probably go Andrew Painter 2. And then the trouble I have is between Mick Abel and Noah Schultz. Because I feel like I've kind of been hyping up Schultz's profile the last couple episodes. But Mick Abel, the last 2 starts, has been fantastic, especially his last one where he threw 10 Ks, 7 innings, no earned runs. His last 2 starts, he has combined 13 innings scoreless against the Tigers and the Red Sox. His first 2 starts were pretty rough, but like I said, it's kind of settled in here. I think, and I guess the Twins are just playing a lot better in general right now, so it gives them more chances for wins. I just think that's the deciding factor. I don't really know if any of these 4 guys are going to be super high candidates to get you a bunch of quality starts. But if you're looking for wins, I just don't know how you don't give it to Abel. But I definitely want all 4 of these guys. It's shocking to me that Mick Abel is only 19% rostered in Yahoo. I think that definitely needs to go up. But if you can get all 4 of these guys, I'm trying to think of dudes you would drop. Let's see. Let's look at all. No, Jordan Romano. Mitch Keller's probably just streamed. Yeah. I mean, I definitely would. I'd rather have the 4 pitchers I named over Mitch Keller. I would say the same thing about Erod, probably Eduardo Rodriguez. Jesus Luzardo, can't drop him. I know it's been brutal. He's only had one good start. It was against the Rockies. Probably got to hold on him. I'd probably drop Randy Vasquez. I would probably do that. And he just pitched last night, coming off a pretty brutal start against Seattle. 4 innings, 4 earned runs, 4 walks. Why is Aaron Nola getting dropped? It was one bad start. It wasn't even that bad. Grant Holmes. Sonny Gray. I think Sonny Gray somebody you should sell off of. Yeah. So yeah, I would say that. Yeah, Mitch Keller, Randy Vasquez. He's 50% right. Yeah. I know he got off to a good start. Randy Vasquez should not be owned over any of these 4 pitchers, especially like Messick. I would say for sure, but which he might not be, but either way. Well, that's pretty much all the time we have. I'm glad we were finally.
Watch out, it's the warning track.
Rankings, because obviously this is a fantasy show. I know I've been focused mostly on just the closer situation, which is valuable, especially early on as teams are trying to shape up their bullpens. If you're in a league with saves, it's important to get them because they're not easy to come by. So we'll keep updating that. Hopefully, get into more ranking stuff and injury updates, buy low, sell high, trade candidates, stuff like that. Trade scenarios would be fun to do. So until then, we'll see you on the next episode. I appreciate watching another episode of The Warning Track. Make sure to check out our other episodes on YouTube. Check out our other shows on Wave 15 Plus. And for Clayton McMahon, we'll see you next time.
Watch out, it's the warning track.